On February 24, 2022, Russia's invasion of Ukraine marked the beginning of a new Cold War, while the whole world was fighting the Omicron coronavirus variant. In 1989, the leaders of the United States and the Soviet Union met and declared the end of the Cold War. Since then, for the past 30 years or so, the United States and its allies have tried to maintain the status quo, the liberal international order. However, the world has been split into two blocs: Russia, its potential partner China, and the United States and the West. The Ukrainian war is a battle for supremacy between the two great powers caused by the geopolitical competition in Eastern Europe between the United States and Russia, and furthermore, it is a clash of incompatible values and worldviews. Russian President Vladimir Putin raised concerns about his country's security and started the war, with the incomprehensible justification of blocking US-led NATO from expanding to the east and neutralizing Ukraine. It may not be easy to predict, but the war in Ukraine is shaking the US-centered hegemonic order and sparking a new Cold War structure that strengthens the solidarity between China and Russia. The Values Alliance advocated by US President Biden is a democratic initiative that links the resistance against authoritarianism, the fight against corruption, and the promotion of respect for human rights. With these values, Biden is expanding the geopolitical space that encircles not only China but also North Korea and Russia. This US Indo-Pacific strategy includes the intention to contain China by further strengthening the alliance of 5 member countries: Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and Thailand. In particular, the US President Biden has begun to encourage the restoration of Korea-Japan relations and South Korea's participation in Quad Plus to complete the Indo-Pacific strategy. Quad Plus is an initiative of the security consultative body in the Indo-Pacific region that includes Japan, India, and Australia, which are key US allies, and South Korea, Vietnam, and New Zealand. In order to achieve the goals of the new Southern policy promoted by the current Korean government, joining Quad Plus is a strategic consideration. However, the Korean government is showing an ambiguous attitude on the grounds that joining Quad Plus would have a very negative effect on Korea-China relations. Korea, which has enjoyed many benefits of being incorporated into the global supply chain, has put its foreign strategy options to the test as the new Cold War between the US and China intensifies. Perhaps the breakthrough will be the consolidation of a strong alliance with allies who value security and economic solidarity. As shown by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the US Values Alliance, the international order in the future is expected to further strengthen the new Cold War stance. In a strategic location between the US and China, the Korean Peninsula is being forced to choose between the two major powers. So, it is time to make a more sophisticated diplomatic decision than ever before. Korean diplomacy in the new Cold War era is connected to the South China Sea, the Belt and Road issue, and the US-China confrontation structure, such as the Indo-Pacific strategy and Quad Plus, which makes it difficult to articulate the existing strategic ambiguity. In addition, Korea is in a situation where it has to find a new global technology strategy and a reorganized cooperation strategy centered on the competition of technological hegemony between the US and China in the high-tech fields such as 5G, AI, and semiconductors. If the new Cold War structure between the US and China reaches its peak and the US proposes deploying medium-range missiles on the Korean Peninsula, the second deployment of THAAD, that is Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, could become a political issue and a security issue in East Asia. In the security and military domains of East Asia, China's gray zone strategy, coercion strategy, and status change strategy stand out in the Taiwan issue and the South China Sea and East China Sea issues. For this reason, President Biden is devising a Build Back Better World strategy to deploy a deterrence strategy against China, even using military force and further preparing for a military confrontation. This strategy is to pursue a new Cold War diplomacy based on military hegemony, with the US still militarily overwhelming other countries and helped by its allies. So in the face of the new Cold War, what choice should Korea make? The answer to this question is that from a strategic perspective on the nature and future of the new Cold War structure, the United States and China should develop a strong ROK-US alliance as a matter of persuasion and no longer a matter of choice. Korea has strategic autonomy and needs a selective response to the issue of confrontation between the US and China. But if it is well known that the essence of the new Cold War is a competition for hegemony, South Korea's first choice would be a strong ROK-US alliance. In other words, South Korea should make active efforts to join Quad Plus so that it can be included in the US Indo-Pacific strategy, while strengthening security cooperation between the US and Japan based on the strong ROK-US alliance.